What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 for our Monday memes. Today, we're going to do a little underwater bowling with the Heavy Cannonball Shard. Heavy Cannonball gives the cannonball a chance to spawn a rolling cannonball that pierces 10 targets, doing 34% of defense damage as physical damage. Now, the cannons themselves are a 30 DU defense. With that in mind, they get great value from upgrades. Additionally, the heavy cannonball does some strange things with terrain. So, for example, if I had a cannonball right here, and it was targeting an enemy up here, and the heavy cannonball hit, it will just roll up and over all the things. So, we're going to get lots of rolly balls going on here on this one. Now, we're going to bring along the training dummy for our walls, auto repair juggernaut, and automation. Let's go ahead and get things started. So we want to build relatively close to the core. Doing a little bit of a turtle here, and, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, as there's going to be just lots and lots of room for enemies to kind of run around these training dummies, but hopefully our placement there was decent. Let's get some reflect beams down. I think we want to throw a reflect on the core here just in case. And then we're going to ball it out. Now we're going to ball it with one big stack. So we're going to go with another stacker build. One big stack of cannons on this lane. Or how many cannons are we going to be able to put down? We're going to be able to put down a lot. We want to get double coverage here of this area. So we want to angle our cannons so they're going to hit into this lane, but they'll also hit into this lane and also hit flyers. So we're going to want to be conscious of all of that. And, we're going to have a lot of DU to spend here because these cannons are just 30. Let's see, let's go 5 and go 6 that way. And then we'll target this way. Now, this time we want our cannon's right edge to be just here. So now we're getting coverage here, here, and a little tiny splash. We're going to get up into that lane as well. Once we get these dialed in a little bit more, we may actually have to use... I think we're going to end up having more cannons then we can fit on a buff beam. Yeah, I think we might have to use... Well, let's just plan on... Let's split it up just a little bit. So let's come a little bit further this way. Once again, we're going to angle all these. We'll use a double buff beam, and then we'll just... we'll figure out what to do. All right, so we got our 6 cannons in on that lane. If we give a little bit of gap and then go our 6 cannons over this way. A little bit sketchy. Then let's make sure we got 2 that are really covering up into that spawn there. All right, now that's a little bit wonky. We're actually going to be able to fit more. So let's see. Let's get a buff beam down. Or I guess we could always throw a sky guard in. We got a lot of DU left here. That's the thing with the cannons. You can just fit a ton of them. I'm wondering if I just wanted to go a triple stack and then we could... You know what? I think that is the way to do it. Let's go with a triple stack and then we'll do our buff beam a little bit differently. So we got our 6 in. This is going to make it a little easier to buff, too. We got 6 there. Let's get 6 over this way. Let's throw 3 that are targeting up into that the ledge lane here. Then I think we can get more. Let me see, what kind of reach do I have on a buff beam? What I plan on doing is going kind of at an angle. So if we started a buff beam, oh yeah, we're not even going to be able to fit the, or that's a proton beam. Derp. We did a buff beam kind of like this. It should allow us to get everything buffed. Then it does leave room for a few more. So let's grab a few more and we'll put those. Like that. A little bit crazy there. Now, all right. Now we're spread out pretty far. So I feel like we're going to need 2 different destructed pylons. I might be able to get away with 1. Let's see if we can get away with 1. I don't think we're going to be able to get everything there with just 1. Actually, it looks like we got them. Yeah, it looks like we're getting everything there. Now, are we going to be able to fit everything in? We'll be good on that once the range pylon hits it too. Let's see. Go range pylon. I think we're going to lose a little bit there. So let's just give our boost star a little bit more range. We'll just throw a deadly strikes in there, and then that easily covers it all. All right, now we got a lot of DU left, so let's go ahead and just throw an all-for-one Skyguard down. That's going to leave another 40. What do we want to do with 40? Well, we're going to be boosted. So we could get our Frost Strikes in there for a little CC. We're not going to be able to cover... How do we want to do our Frost Strikes? I mean, we could throw 1 here. And it would cover... Actually, let's just do that. We'll throw 1 there, cover both of those lanes. And then we'll throw another one, say, right down there. Hopefully that doesn't get cyborged. We'll find out. And then that will be all of our DU. Now, this is so sketchy, but let's throw 1 upgrade there. Let's throw 1 there. And then we'll just hit a couple of random cannons. So, all right. Let's go ahead and let it fly and see how it goes for the first wave here. Place that way too early. So the regular cannon projectiles, we're not getting shots in up there. Do we not have range? We got the range. We don't have, well, we need to get them up top. We're going to have to rebuild all of this. Oof. I really wanted, actually, we're getting shots in. Not many. Oh, and you know what? The heavy cannonballs are disappearing. They're not having the usual effect. They're not rolling up the ledge like they would normally. So something with this map right here, it's absorbing the projectiles. So that's a bit of a bummer. But I think we actually got enough power where it may not matter. So let's let it fly here with our big old stack of gloriousness and just see what happens. We've got so many cannons. I mean, that's just a lot of damage rolling out at enemies. There's just no doubt. Now, I do wish we were able to crack those chieftain shields a little bit earlier, where the chieftain buffs, they're not going to be buffing themselves until they're right at the wall. That's big bummers on the rolling here. Like on a lot of maps, it'll like even roll up like light posts and stuff. But there's something with this map that it is absorbing that projectile. But boy, they are just blasting everywhere else. The Chieftain are going to be the only issue. We got so much power rolling out. There's no way anything is going to survive. Sharkin are going to come in fast enough to probably get some shots at walls. And then Chieftain, of course, are going to pop their little immunity just the second they take damage. Now, over on this lane, the Chieftain will be fine. Because their bubble is going to be just about expired by the time they make it to the wall. But on these areas where we've got a little line of sight here, we're just basically slamming everything right at the wall. So let's leave it like this. I thought about rebuilding and putting them up on the ledge so we'd get better line of sight into that lane. But let's just leave them down here on the ground and see how this plays out. Doing this build just for fun, of course, so... You know, sometimes the builds that are the most fun don't always win. So let's just see what kind of result we get here on this one. I'm just going to spam upgrades through the cannons, really for the entire map. Let some enemies get out here before I start slapping down my talisman here. They definitely get powerful with the talisman in the mix. See, even with just the one upgrade there, we're up to 7 million tooltip DPS. So, I mean, we get some nice DPS out of these guys. Daily completed, we'll take it. We got Dreadbones here. Now, the bosses is where this is really going to shine. Now, of course, we got frontal shots going on siege rollers. So we're not going to have any luck with siege rollers there. But bosses, as soon as they get into range, they're just going to get slapped hard. Now, you see the captain making his way out. As soon as the captain's down here at the wall and is getting hit, he's just going to get drilled instantly. Yeah, just smacked. Absolutely smacked. The training dummies, of course, are they're only taking a small amount of damage, but they're able to heal through everything so far. We'll see how it progresses as we get through the rest of this. It's actually crazy smooth. Now, you know, a siege roller, of course, will really put a dampering on things. But yeah, it is crazy smooth. We got the Skyguard in, so we got our air protection pretty much on point. That's a lot of cannons shooting, but of course, they're not going to prioritize a flyer over a ground lane. So that's where the Skyguard really helps clean up there. All right, and let's just rinse and repeat. We're just going to spam those upgrades in. We see where everything's dying. I mean, all these mobs have protection throughout, really, and they're not going to die until they get, right to the wall. But when they do get to the wall, oh, they've got quite the welcome party sitting here waiting for them, no doubt. Wave 3 incoming. Pretty smooth sailing so far. I love cannons. There was a time when the shatter combo was really busted, where it wasn't element based. It was based off of shattering damage, or pardon me, crushing damage. And the cannonballs were classified as crushing damage, so you would use the shatter combo like when the EV first launched. What I'm really thinking, the cannons really shined as you'd throw protons in lanes to freeze enemies up, and then cannonballs would shatter the enemies and one tap them all. It was crazy good. Now, of course, with all the chaos enemies and various counters in the game, a lot of those older builds we would use, some of them still work, but a lot of them not so viable. The Drakenlord we can just ignore. We're going to be able to ignore every boss except for the Siege Roller. That is for sure. Slakelion rolling out. Slakelion is going to have a rough wave 4 and wave 5. There is no doubt. Sadly, he's coming from all the way up top, so it's going to take him about 17 years to make it all the way through that gauntlet. Slakelion is not afraid to slow roll. He is off for just a little Sunday chill jaunt. And he does not care about you wanting to go all fast. Go ahead and yoink all the mana here and let Slakelion do his business. Oh man, I'm just going to kill him. This is just with the Froststrike aura in there as well, getting the freeze. In fact, let's just hammer him down. Alright, Slakelion, sorry dude, but we ain't having it. Alright, let's continue to spam it up. And just let it fly. We'll let Slakelion walk down now since we've got to let the rest of the mobs come out anyway, but that poor guy with that Froststrike aura up there is going to take just an eternity to make it down to the walls. Kind of pleasantly surprised at this lane. The heavy cannonballs do help as they're going to hit multiple targets. But the challenge of the cannonball is it's a true single target defense. So as far as the cannon itself, it does have that little explosion when it hits. But it is pretty much doing damage to only one enemy. Now, like I said, the heavy cannonball is going to help out there. But we've got so much damage, or so many cannons flying that way, it just doesn't even matter. They're still just smashing. The Chieftain with their little immunity buff are the only real concern at the moment. Of course, like I mentioned, once we get a Siege Roller, we're gonna have to do something a little different for Mr. Siege Roller, but Drakenlord's going to take a little while to get out here too, but we still have a ton of enemies, so no hurry on him. Poor guy's just going to get tore up here. The thing is those heavy cannonballs, although they're just a relatively small amount of damage, they are rolling and piercing through everything. So you're piercing, you're hitting 10 targets. So if there's 10 enemies in a line, it's going to roll through and hit all of them. And as you see, there is no shortage of rolly balls going out there. Of course, we're losing all of the ones into the river down there. But we still get plenty of room in that little straight shot gauntlet where, I mean, just look at that. There is a lot of... I mean, that's just rolling through everything. Crazy. Man, we got another Slakelion. Game does not want us to complete this one in a very timely manner, that's for sure. We got a Malthius as well. Malthius won't be a problem. Yeah, I think Malthius is going to have to make the turn I'm going to swap over and get this Slickelion out of the way, though. So, Malthius, too. I'm just going to go ahead and kill him, y'all. I don't want to wait for Malthius. We all know what would have happened to Malthius if we would have waited it out. Once again, let's just spam it. And I'll let it fly here. We got our Slickelion is at the wall and in range. Poor guy. Having a rough day. And final wave, so pretty smooth sailing overall. The cannons are definitely a super fun defense to use. Like I said, there was a time... Well, I mean, there was a time when we didn't have any heroes, where it was just the original 4, where, like, I used a lot of cannons. Made a switch over to explosive traps in the early days with Frosty Power. But prior to that, I was a cannon spammer, there is no doubt, as we just didn't have a ton of really good defenses, and the cannon was one of them. All right, we do have a roller, so we're going to want to... We're going to want to not get our stuff blown up. Roller's still not out yet. We can get one more boost down. And look at that Cyclone Shaper. Just got melted. Now, of course, we could have thrown just one cannonball up top here. And then this would have turned into... a Sunday chill build as far as this particular run. Now, of course, if we had rollers coming from any of the other lanes, we wouldn't have that same effect. Got lots of blocking going on. There we go. Mr. Roller down. We can switch back over and get a little boosty one more time and burn off these last 170 mobs. So really smooth sailing run overall. Oh, the Heavy Cannonball. I'm kind of surprised they never really updated the visual on that one. That's like still the same placeholder looking Heavy Cannonball visual that was there back way back in the early days. It may have had a little less texture back then, I'm not sure, but definitely it does not look, it looks kind of like a placeholder graphic. But incredibly cool shard, no doubt. We don't get use of it everywhere. But when we do get to use it, it's pretty fun. All right, we got another Slickelion rolling out. Let's just go ahead and give him the slap. And there we go. We got one more bird, and it is all done. So let's go ahead and collect our seahorse pet. And we'll call it a day here on our little cannon spam build. No, we're not going to get a seahorse pet out of that box. That is the benefit of always playing in a group, even if it's just your alt. Oh, we still got it. All right. Well, there we go. Myth busted. I know a lot of people were saying that the seahorses could only come out of a legendary chest. Well, that's not true. I just got one right there out of that blue one. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.